Thank you so much to our chair for her leadership on this. And you guys pulled a lucky number for being our first hearing, because that is, really what it shows is really the leadership one of, I know, the state. And when we talk about affordability, when we talk about putting money back in people's pockets, the things that keep them up at night, we're talking about EDD, right? We're talking about both the agency that sometimes can both be a little bit frustrating to deal with, but also can also be the solution, right? Once we get some of these claims paid out and we put money back in people's pockets, it is truly a lifeline. So I did appreciate hearing about the improvements in customer service, the turnaround time on some of the cases, especially with paid family leave, that my colleagues asked you questions about. I'm going to ask you some of the questions that I asked the LAO relative to really the transition that we're making right now with your systems. Obviously, we've spent a lot of time talking about the investment in EDD Next, which I think is necessary to modernize our systems, but really wanted to dive into detail. I had an opportunity to meet with the director, Nancy Farias, a few weeks ago after I got the appointment from Mr. Speaker to this committee. And I think the numbers that I heard, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, was that 60% of your claims are online and 40% are paper-based. Is that correct?
For disability, yes, that is accurate.
For disability only?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what that breakdown is for your other two programs?
Yes. So for unemployment, we get 8% on paper. And for paid family leave, we get 17% in paper.
Okay. That would be really helpful to see and hear from all of you to understand, what are you doing with those paper-based applications? How are you transitioning those folks to your online system? What does that look like? And is there different turnaround times between the online system versus the paper-based system? And I say that because my district office is out there every single day working really hard to make sure that we process constituent claims, and you're number one yet again on our list for both better and for worse. And I did just want to read some of the stories from some of the claims from my district, just to put it on the record, because I think it is important to share some of these stories. In my district, and I represent Los Angeles, South Glendale, East LA, we are at the end of February for 2026, and in less than 2 months, my team is going to open almost 200 cases. And that is triple from 2025. And so I'm deeply concerned about why we're seeing such an upward trend of EDD cases, and this could just be specific to my district. But maybe it's not. And so that's why I'm always asking and prodding, like, what is EDD? What is the LAO seeing as it relates to massive layoffs that are happening? Because I think it is incumbent on us to assess what risk is out there and to be proactive to make sure that you're all equipped and ready for what's coming next, and that we're also all equipped for what might be happening in certain industries, be it tech, entertainment, or otherwise. So one constituent that reached out to EDD had to wait almost 6 weeks to receive his checks, and this was backfilled with 3 payments. This totaled a little over $10,000. Another constituent applied on November 2nd, 2025, and had to wait until December 30th, 2025 to get certified, which is almost 2 months later. And after 3 weeks of no contact from EDD, she reached out to our office, and we helped her secure $13,000 in back payments. Lastly, we had a new mother of twins who applied on August 20th, 2025. She received a notice of computation on September 19th, 2025. She never received any other notice of determination or eligibility. We helped her file an appeal. and she was rewarded a little over $4,000, which we know is nowhere sufficient of an income for a mother of twins to sustain her family in California. My team alone has helped retrieve over $500,000 with EDD cases. And so you guys keep us pretty busy. So I think one of my concerns as I hear these numbers from all of you, and I think just the general trend in what my district team and my team in general has seen, is that when our office reaches out to you, you respond to us quickly. But it's when the member of the public, without the assistance of an assembly office, reaches out to you, that's where we have an issue. And that our office has to get directly involved and engage for these claims to be resolved. And I know you guys are working hard, but I really do need to really better understand what's going on here with your team. How can we work to improve these turnaround cases? These are just a few examples. I have a lot more. But I guess my question for you is, what are the standards of service that EDD has? What should we be relaying so that we can say, hey, we've talked to EDD and they told us that their turnaround time that they're committed to is X number of days or X number of hours? What are the standards of service that your team has that we should be relaying to constituents?
Thank you for the question. And again, always appreciate the feedback from the offices, and we always look forward to trying to work with you to resolve these issues with the constituents that you work with. I think generally speaking, the base service level for our paid family leave or disability insurance program, which is fairly consistent with our UI program, is getting that first claim processed and payment out the door within 2 to 3 weeks. For DI and PFL, it's within 2 weeks or 14 days. For UI, it's typically within 21 days, which is the federal standard.
Okay. So just so I'm clear, we should be communicating to our constituents that their cases should be resolved within 2 weeks of reaching out to EDD.
Yes.
Okay. And what are the standards of service when it comes to EDD responding to casework when you receive calls from or emails from constituents? Because that is also a major issue that I'm hearing and seeing. And as you modernize your systems, how can we also improve that turnaround time for even just any response from EDD? Like, should we be, what is an acceptable response rate from EDD?
Specifically talking about the unemployment insurance program? Or
any of your programs. When should constituents say that we heard at least within 24 hours from EDD that they even confirmed receipt of our claim?
For unemployment insurance specifically, claimants can use self-service options, and they can talk to chatbot. They can have a UI live chat to get a response immediately. They don't have to wait get a letter, or they don't have to wait for any extended days to get a response back from EDD. That's immediate. For disability and paid family leave, similarly, there are self-service features available through chatbot as well as through automated IVR system. The challenge is, Assemblymember, that I think you're referring to is claims that are extremely complex in nature, that require extensive research from EDD side to administer the benefits. I think that those are the ones where we try to do our best to be timely and give them response immediately when they reach out to us. So at this point in time, our service levels are, yes, if you get a call, our expectation is that we will respond back to that caller immediately. Or if the customer is using the scheduled callback feature, we try to call them on the same day to provide them the answer for the question.
And I understand some of these cases are a little bit more complicated, and just so I can be a little bit more specific, I'm talking about a response from an actual person at EDD, not something automated, not a chatbot. So you're saying that your response rate and your standards of service would be to respond immediately?
Yes, if the claimant is, I'm assuming that there are 3 channels in which claimants can talk to EDD: paper, online, and telephone. So depending on the channel that you're referring to, assuming it's a phone call to EDD office, and if the claimant is able to get to our EDD office, then the person on the phone on EDD side, yes, there is an expectation to respond to that claimant immediately.
Does EDD track the number of complaints that you receive on non-responses?
Number of complaints.
Like, do you audit yourself with your customer service? I know you're talking about the improvement, so I'm assuming that's based off of something that you must be tracking internally.
100%, yes. We look at the number of calls that came in, the disposition for those calls, why the claimant has called us, what was the response, did we do a timely resolution of the call or not? So those numbers are tracked in our call centers.
Do you have a report of that?
Absolutely.
Okay. And I don't want to belabor the point, but it's all that to say that it's when we get involved, when our office gets involved, you respond to us very quickly. It's when we're not involved that I'm deeply concerned that the response time of what you're saying is that you would respond immediately. That is not happening, right? That is the reality that we're hearing from our constituents. And that's why they're reaching out to us, and they're waiting 3-4 weeks, if not longer, and that is missing rent, that is missing mortgage, that is missing a car payment. Those are very serious consequences for families in the district. And so, I look forward to following up with you on that. And I think the last thing that I'll ask is related to the WARN notices that I asked the LAO about. Are you seeing trends from what you're receiving from employers about where these mass layoffs are happening? What analysis are you doing? So, to go back to our chair's theme of today's hearing, is EDD, prepared for the next big crisis? How are you preparing? What trends are you seeing that you want to warn us about? Where are the risks in industries right now?
So EDD does track all of the WARN notices we receive. We don't have the data readily available in terms of the industries we're seeing and that level of specificity available today, but we're happy to get back to your office with that information. I will tell you that when we do receive WARN notices, EDD collaborates with the local boards and the employer to provide rapid response. And so we're readily available on site. We actually send EDD representatives on site to assist and avail all the various services that we provide, given their current situation and the mass layoff that's occurring. So we will partner with the local board and the employers in those instances, and we are happy to get back to you on the data related to the WARN notices.
Thank you for that. And the reason why I asked that is really, I know you're implementing a lot of these, changes in EDD Next because, one, our systems are old, but two, it's really, understanding what is the stress test for our system, right? We had that stress test during the pandemic. What does that look like now with this current system? Does EDD know the limits in which we would push the system if, let's say, we had a few WARN notices that resulted in mass layoffs this year? What does that look like, and could we handle it? Yeah.
No, thank you. We'll definitely track, like Chief Deputy mentioned, and just to reassure you, the unemployment system is stable enough to handle the influx of the claimants that are coming in as verified by the LAO as well.
Okay, I look forward to following up. Thank you.
Thank you.